What is up? What is up, y'all? It's your girl D, and this is the newest episode of Healing Out Loud. If you guys don't remember, if you're new to the channel, or if you need a refresher, Healing Out Loud is my series where we talk about healing and what comes along with that in the sense of what it takes, the work that you need to do to get over that past trauma and allow yourself to flourish. So this is very much on the mental and spiritual and emotional health side of the channel. And so I don't claim to be an expert in anything besides life that I have lived and the perspective that I have. So please don't think that I think that I know what I'm talking about as far as everyone's situation. All I can do is testify what I have gone through and experienced and how God has helped me flourish and receive everything that I've been asking for, with the help of community, therapy, and healthy relationships. So essentially, that is how we heal. We start first with our source. We go to that higher power. We talk about what we want. We have honest conversations and we do the work. And then, on the other side of that is putting things into action and asking for things to fall into place. So asking for that divine alignment. And, in my experience, everything that I have asked for, I have gotten. Everything I have prayed for, like a lot of it has come into fruition so far. So this is more a testimony than anything, but it's also a conversation about love and relationships and how God played a huge part in me actually getting what I wanted out of my relationships. And it took 30-ish years to get it. Welcome to today's episode. Okay, so your girl is engaged. Is she sparkles? She sparkles. Please pay me no, never mind. Like, we are very much so on mom time until the wedding, but my nails will be done in a couple days. I actually took a really cute picture of my ring. I'll put it right here when my nails were done. The day that I got it, it was so cute. He completely surprised me because he was waiting for a kid-free weekend, and we haven't had one of those in a minute. So I just knew that we was going to do something real fly, real sexy for my birthday. It didn't happen quite then, but very shortly after, he did promise me, because he's been working so much. This is a busy season for his line of work, which is great for our household, but we do miss him a little bit more than we normally do. And so, navigating our system around the house has been kind of crazy, but he didn't want to be too tired or too low energy or not in the mood for like a sexy date night, because when we have a date night, we come correct. Okay, so if we label it date night, believe that we going somewhere in somebody's restaurant, very much so overdressed. Okay, and do. We take pride in looking very, very put together and feeling good and smelling good. We take pride in getting ready for date night. So to do that when he's like low energy it's not gonna hit the same. So he did promise me some Mexican. So we was gonna have this like cute little casual go get something to eat moment. And so he came home from work, and before we were supposed to go out, he got out of the shower, and I'm thinking like he's getting dressed and getting ready, but in real life he was lining up all his fixings, and there were candles and rose petals and like this very elaborate scenery. There's some other stuff that happened, but I'm keeping those for me. No, there's not a video, because again, this was for me, not y'all. But I know people are really upset that we didn't record it. But he was already so... What's wrong, baby? Yeah, I'm talking about Dada. He was already... You can't touch this while I'm doing this, honey. Baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're typing? Okay. He was already so nervous and so like so worried about how he was gonna do this. He was like, shout out to anybody that's ever proposed to anybody, because that was not easy. And I was like, hello. But that's why we appreciate it more when we get a good proposal. What happened? No, baby, this mommy turn. No, mommy turn. Oh. So excited. I am so excited to find man's wife. Like, everyone has been really cute and like already calling me his wife, which is, again, like I said, is really cute. But there's something about like actually being proposed to and getting an official like symbol of that. Like, I am marked, honey. I am marked. Leave me alone. The point is, I say all that to say we are getting married this week. So I am making this video December 21st, and we are getting married on the 26th at our church. So that's why I'm like extra dolled up for church today. I need to do something about this. That's why I decided to get myself together for church today and kind of start mentally preparing for what I'm going to be doing this week. This is a big thing. The other thing that starts today, that as you can see, I'm like on my coffee right now. I am fasting, girl. This is called the Esther fast. Now, I've heard it two ways, and I know what way I'm doing it. If you don't know what a fast is, basically fasting is denying your flesh so you can focus on your spirit. And so it allows you to pray more fervently. It allows you to be more clear in what you're asking and be more aware spiritually of what you are without distractions, coping mechanisms, recreational activities, right? So, I am fasting for 3 days because I'm about to get married. And, you know, spiritual warfare is really like, is really real, and it attacks the mind first. So I want to go into my marriage with a clear mind, a full heart, and knowing exactly where I stand with this relationship and how I feel about moving forward, and just being grateful for the man that God gave me. Because I hella prayed for this man, y'all. I prayed for him. I said, God, I am good. This is literally, I am not lying, okay? I'm not over-exaggerating. This is literally how this went. It was one day I was just so fed up with my dating situation, which we'll come back to because I put myself in situations that would harm me emotionally. My therapist and I talked about my motivations and how I went about dating prior to finding my husband, and it was like indeed a form of self-harm because of who I was choosing and what I was allowing. And so I was like, no, God, okay, I get it. I need to be still and I need to listen. I get it. I am good on all of this dating. Send me the man that you have for me. The man that you have designed to be with me. The one that you know that's with her. And when you see him, you see her, and when you see her, you see him. Like, let me find them. Get them ready for me. I'll start putting myself in my own little crock pot and get ready to be somebody's wife, because I knew I was somebody's wife. How I was moving was not how somebody's wife would be moving, because I didn't know what I was doing. I was so lost, and I was so reliant upon myself. And trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Honey, I was leaning on my own understanding, and it was not working. It wasn't working. Obedience was the biggest struggle for me in my entire life. And if I'm going to be honest with you, like, it wasn't until I started being obedient that I started receiving what I was asking for. Now, I'm not going to say that doesn't mean like prayers definitely got answered. I could tell I was being heard. When I left that relationship, I was incredibly broken. My perception was so warped. Like, I knew God had heard me, but I never leaned on him after that. I felt like a burden. I felt like, okay, God, I realized that that was a lot and I should have listened. So, like, I'm going, I'm going to just go ahead and stay out the way. Staying out the way should have been being still and being obedient. And I did not do that. I honestly was in denial. And I had deluded myself into believing that I was okay because I was alive, but not realizing that I really needed to unpack what happened in that relationship, and recover from the hurt and the wounds, and then restore myself spiritually so that I had enough love to give. That's what I wish that I would have done. And if I gave any advice on this video today, it would be to do that after a really toxic situation. And so these years of disobedience, me dating in pools that I did not need to be swimming in, like, it wasn't it. I wasn't finding my husband, but then I wanted a husband. This is how we be. But this is where, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding really does come into play, because I didn't ask God for anything. I asked God to help me with security, but I didn't ask God for what I wanted in love. And I think that's because I really didn't know what I wanted. And it took me finally saying, like, God, this is what I want. I want you to give me what you made for me. Not what I want, not what I think I need. I just said, give me what you got for me. That was me officially placing it in the hands of the Lord. I didn't ask God for specifics. I didn't say he got to be this, he got to be this tall, he got to look like this, he got to make this much money. I didn't say none of that. I literally said, God, give me the man, send the man that you have for me. That's what I said, send him. I said that. And so it's crazy that I talked about how words have weight in one of my videos, and I'm like really realizing that my words held weight when I meant it and when I gave it to God, because I was like, send him to me. And I didn't even think about what that would mean. I was completely unprepared because I was at a birthday dinner reconciling a friendship that I had broken from that past relationship when I met Dante. And from that moment, he was on me. He was on me, and I liked it. And and I let him pursue. And when I tell you that man did not stop pursuing me, has not stopped pursuing me since that day, and I just let him, like, yeah, we have literally hung out. We hung out. We're one of those couples that literally hung out once and have never left each other alone. And it was the most organic, natural. I didn't have to do any work. Like, all I had to do was show up as myself. And depending on the day, that may look different. It may sound different. I might be in a mood. And when I say, like, no relationship has ever outlasted all the sides of myself being seen, ooh, until this one. And I think that's what kept me trying to choose certain things in relationships. It was me trying to not really show all of myself, because I felt like every time I showed my true self, people would skedaddle or make other plans without me. And normally talking about this, I would have started boo-hooing by now. But I feel so affirmed in the fact that I trusted in what was supposed to happen for me. And I got exactly what I asked for when I prayed for this man. So, shout out to God and shout out to my man. He and I will often talk about when we met each other, like how perfect that was timing wise, because had we met each other at any other point in our lives, we probably would not have talked at all. And we were very honest about that. We were like, knowing who I was back then, I probably would not have started talking to you. And he was like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have paid no attention, because he was going through so much in his life when he was younger as well. And we both had things that we needed to heal from in our past. So we both kind of acknowledge that we're glad that we're at the place that we are at now, because everything that we are doing to heal, we can do together. So both of us are in therapy. Both of us go to church. Both of us, are constantly self-reflecting, and we feel, but that's because we feel like we have the safe space to do it. And connection is one of the driving forces that keeps humans going to get to the greater area, the good place, right? I I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. It's not even funny, because where I was at right before I met him was like the darkest place of isolation. And friendships were starting to crumble. My relationships with my parents were kind of like, they're always all over the place, but like they were rocky at this point. And I just could not accept that I had put myself in the situation that I had put myself in previously. So relationships were going to be so hard for me. And that's when I realized, like, well, that's because you're not supposed to do all of this. You're supposed to lean on God for the understanding and the will and the plan. Like, your plans are not the plan, okay? So that's another thing. What I love about going to church is that it affirms me and realizing that it's not on me, because I don't have all the answers. I'm not supposed to have the answers. So one thing that has happened for both of us is our call to obedience. Obedience has been like the word of the year somehow for our household. And one of the things that is driving the quickness, I guess, for some people for our wedding is obedience. Like, shacking up and playing house is cute, but it ain't real. And it honestly is the disobedient way for us to live our lives. We can't say that we're following in the Lord's plan and not, sanctify this union, So, leveling up together spiritually and as a household, that's cute. But nothing, it's my personal belief is that we will not flourish in the way that we need to if we're not listening to what God is telling us. And there have been several signs from several different sources telling us, like, y'all need to go ahead and do this now. So we're not feeling rushed. We're not feeling like we're anxious in the good way. But like, honestly, we've been extra, extra cute and lovey-dovey this week. And I think it's because we like, oh, you asked me and you said yes, girl. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Like, you my husband and you are my wife, honey. That is literally how we've been all week. It's so cute. You could choke on the cuteness. On that note, I do want to read 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7, which is a very well-known verse about love, but it is, for me, the best way to define what love should look like and feel like to you. And it portrays the way that God loves us, but also the way that we should love our partners. But love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. The beginning of verse 8 is up top. Love never fails. And that is so real, y'all. I found myself very reluctant to fall in love. I found myself very always arm's length with people. Even people that I swore up and down, I was like, oh, I love you. Like, I do. I said it just like that. But when it came down to loving people enough to let them see who I was underneath the surface, seeing not so cute moments, seeing me when I wasn't stable mentally, when my hormones were all over the place, pregnancy was so hard for the fact that I had to be so vulnerable. And, I was a very romantic person. I am the red roses, put the pedals on the bed in the bathtub, like romanticize your life. I romanticize making my coffee every morning, okay? Some people call it aesthetic. I call it romance. Okay. So it like I'm very touchy feely, kisses, oh, acknowledge me, hold my hand. Like I am a lovey dovey girl. But I knew that I had hardened myself before I met Dante, and I could feel myself like melting away slowly. That's why I called it a slow burn. But the like it's so hard to say that because the intensity of our connection was like but like attraction, like the basic concepts were there. We knew that we could do this. But then doing the work to actually like be what we thought we were or like what we were envisioning becoming, that was some work. And it was on both of our ends. Like something that I'm really fascinated with talking about is like the soft girl era, like being that soft wife, that Proverbs 31 woman that only worries about her household. She's unbothered. She's not worried about anything. She laugh at the future. Those are some comfortable, peaceful women. Okay, and I realized entering this that I was neither of those things. And so I had to really break down what was the root of that. And it sounds cliche, but loving yourself, but also falling in love with love, like realizing that you need to learn how to accept love. You need to learn what love actually looks like. You can't possibly be in love or truly love another person until you reach a certain level of understanding what love is. But I I'm excited to get married. I'm excited for what marriage is to bring us because we've already gone through a lot. So I can't wait to see what we embark on together and how we go through life as a unit, as one flesh. Very excited about that. Close out this video to say, don't let your own understanding and what you've gone through affect how you go into relationships. Make sure if you really want to be seen that you are allowing people to see you. The key things that I would say, number one, is just trust and wait on God, because there is a plan. It's not your plan. And whatever you thought it was going to look like, it may not look like that all the way. Now, you can ask for certain things, like the way that my husband pursued me in the beginning is exactly how I wanted to be pursued. But the timing and where and all that, like, that was not how I thought it was going to go. I also encourage you to pray. I encourage you to pray and ask for what you want, because trust and believe He hears you. You just have to truly, intentionally believe that you deserve it and you'll get it the way that God wants you to get it. And then, in the meantime, stay obedient, be still, lean not on your own understanding, and do the work. Like, do the inner work that you need to do to be prepared for being somebody's wife. Because who I was when I met him is not how I picture the wife that I know he deserves. And I'm sure it's like vice versa. We are definitely not the same people that we walked into this thing being. And who we become is a version of that, but it's a much better version. It's a obedient version. It's a version of a person that knows and loves God and is willing to give righteously the good kind of love to their partner. And so I don't know. I'm just really grateful and excited. I appreciate you guys for coming back. If you are returning and if you are new, welcome to the channel. Down in the comments, drop below, if you are married, what is a piece of advice that you have for me that you've learned through your marriage? Some encouraging words would be lovely. And if not, if you're not married and aspiring to be married, then I want you to share, like, have you prayed for what God has for you, and what has kept you, what do you feel like has kept you from receiving it yet? Do you think it's divine timing? Are you in a place of obedience? Where are y'all at when it comes to love? Where are the single ladies at when it comes to love? Where y'all at? Anywho, I'll see y'all.
I found my peace in you. And I finally love me too. Never knew that I could be everything in your eyes. Our souls are intertwined, moving perfect time. This is why